Hello, welcome. I'm just gonna go straight to the point. Recently, I feel like I've been in a creative rut. Everything feels stale and repetitive and just robotic. I think I've been quite frustrated with how much more difficult it's been for me to be inspired and to execute my creativity with work or with my own passion projects. I just feel some sort of disconnection. I think a lot of that has to do with so much doom scrolling that I've been doing and the amount of media that I've been consuming that may not be beneficial for me. I really do think that has an impact on why I feel this way about my creativity. So I thought to myself, instead of waiting around for inspiration, I've kind of challenged myself into an experiment to force myself out of a creative rut. So I'm just trying to knock myself out of my usual rhythm to kind of get out of that and hopefully be inspired. It's pretty simple, but maybe a bit intensive. 3 days, three exercises, which I kind of designed as a method to dump out the noise, clear my mind, and then refill it with something new. So dump, clear, and refill. The first exercise of the experiment on day one will be 30 minutes of journaling. I'm going to set a timer for 30 minutes and write down everything, anything, no structure, no pressure. I just want to close that intimidating gap of putting ink on paper, which is symbolic in, just starting something. I just want to dump everything out. Day two, which is more extreme than the first day, will be 10-hour detox exercise. No phone, no laptop, no social media. The only device I'll have will probably be my camera to document what I do for 10 hours, and I will be doing that at home by myself because I feel like it would defeat the purpose if I did that on a vacation or a trip. I think this exercise will leave me to my own devices, ironically without any devices, in my own home and see what I can do for 10 hours without consuming any digital media. And then day three, I'm going to refill my brain from that detox by researching a random topic for 2 hours. Something that I wouldn't actually choose to research or spend my time finding information about. I just want to get my brain out of what it usually thinks about on my day to day, just to shake things up and get my brain firing in different directions. And hopefully by the end of this, I will feel inspired, a little less stuck, or I might just lose my mind from detoxing from the internet for 10 hours, but I don't know. We'll see. Here we go. I can't wait to see what outcome comes out of this. What outcome comes out of this? What kind of language is that? I can't wait to see the outcome of this. Here we go. I just finished just writing nonstop for 30 minutes. And I managed to fill in 4 and almost a half pages, 4 and a third pages. It was actually very calming, just having that solitude to myself. I actually think it was really fun. I mean, not really fun is a bit of an exaggeration. At one point, my hands did ache from writing too long, and I actually wrote about that. My palm is actually so sweaty. This is kind of gross. Have I ever written nonstop for this long before? I probably have for English exams in high school. But no, wait, actually, okay, this is when I started debating with myself. I said, but no, wait, actually, I've been writing a whole lot more recently. I take meeting notes by hand now instead of typing, and I've been journaling every morning and night. Okay. There were points of just me writing nonsense. And what I liked about doing this is there was really no limit to it. Oh, at one point I kind of was lost in time. I said, I don't know how many minutes it's been. What if I've actually only done 5 minutes? Okay, no, I don't want to believe that or think about how much time has passed. What if my phone stops working, or what if I actually forgot to press start on the timer? No, I surely haven't forgotten. Well, if my judgment is right, I think I started writing. Anyways, I just kind of got lost. Eventually, what I ended with when the timer rang was, oh, actually, my last sentence was, I can write about anything. That's interesting. So, my last paragraph was, this is supposed to help me erase the barrier between putting ink on an empty page. to not think about any limits, to have no specific purpose in my writing, just no boundaries, only for 30 minutes. I can write about anything. That was my last page. That was my last page. And I think that basically sums up how I feel about that challenge or experiment, erasing my fear of putting ink on a blank piece of paper. I think symbolically, that's like when you want to create something, oftentimes there's that block, which is that gap between you wanting to create something and then you actually starting it. And this exercise I chose to do to kind of build a habit of breaking that gap. I think just dumping everything out from your brain is a good practice. It's not like I'm suddenly inspired to go create something, but it's definitely given me some sort of empowerment. My brain, in a way, feels more fluid. I basically had a conversation with myself for 30 minutes. Maybe next time I'll try for an hour. I don't know. I don't know if that's too extreme, but I really do think this kind of lightened up my mind and given me a sense of creativity. Definitely a positive. Would do this again. We'll see how it goes with the next challenge. It's currently 9:30 a.m. and soon I'm gonna challenge myself to go 10 hours without internet or my phone. I don't think 10 hours is that much, but no, we'll see. Might be much for some people, might be very little for other people. We'll see which type of person I am in 10 hours. I will not have my phone or internet. So I will be using this camera to film whatever activities I can find to do without the internet. I'm actually very excited to not be reachable by people in general. Instant messaging. Although I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be using my time to do. I'm excited because I feel like I'm going to use my time wisely and I don't know, just do some productive things and I'll probably be reading, journaling. That's all I can think of right now. I don't know what other. I might find something interesting to do without the internet. So we'll see. Okay, so it's the next morning after I did my digital detox. I did that from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. And I actually really enjoyed it. Due to not being able to check my phone, watch YouTube or TikToks, or consume anything from the internet, I did a lot of journaling and writing. I actually tried to write an activity log of everything I did. You want to come in?
Hey guys, I haven't showered. You also.
I just showered.
No.
I literally just showered.
Hey guys, once again, I want to remind you all, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. And if you really like the video, don't forget to like. And if you don't like the video, uh, she promised she will do better next time.
Thank you. So I made a lot of notes during the detox and some notes once I finished. So I wrote down that eating became more exciting and I was more present when eating, which makes me feel a lot more grateful for the food. The urge to pick up a phone happens so much, like muscle memory. That's something I noticed throughout the day, but more really at the beginning, not so much towards the end of the day. Even though I knew and made a commitment to not touch my phone, and I know I did not even have my phone with me. My phone was um, inside a cupboard. For some reason, while I was doing something, instantly my hand after that would try to reach for my phone, which is interesting because it kind of shows how attached I usually am to my phone, that it's kind of muscle memory even though I didn't have any intention to open my phone. So that's something I realized throughout the whole day of not being able to reach the internet or not have the internet be able to reach me. My mind kept feeling like it needed to be doing something. Like I was pacing around the house or just like sitting and staring at the wall, my mind just felt like I had to do something. And I think that goes to show how used to being stimulated my mind is. And I realized yesterday that I don't always have to be doing something. It's okay to stare at a wall. I mean, it's okay to not be doing anything for a bit. And also, trivial tasks became more enjoyable. I wrote that down, like organizing, making matcha, little things that I would do around the house daily. Just, I don't know, they became more exciting and I looked forward to doing them more. So, yeah, a lot of mindfulness and feeling present and enjoying the things that you normally would find trivial. I also wrote down I am less anxious. I don't have chats to read or image flashes of people I need to respond to. I'm not looking at what other people are doing. I feel so much solitude. I think I wrote this around the afternoon when I just started feeling a whole lot of peacefulness. And it made me realize that when I have my phone with me, even though I'm not necessarily consuming something from a platform, I feel too connected to the outside world. Like, I see everyone's names on WhatsApp. Even if I don't open their stories, I still see their names on Instagram. Not that I have a problem with these people, it's nothing like that at all. It's just like when once you finally take that away and kind of forget that these people exist out of sight, out of mind, there's a whole lot of solitude and peace in that. It did remind me of what it felt like to be off the grid when I was up on a mountain. But in a way, it's different because you're actually at home, but you're disconnected from the rest of the world. And it was really enjoyable. Basically, disconnected from everyone, even my husband, because he had to go out for work. So I was at home pretty much alone. I wrote down, I feel the need to write everything down, which is so true because not having distractions or outer things to stimulate me, I feel like that made my mind more creative. My mind was more loud, and therefore it made me feel the need to write everything down, an idea or a thought or a feeling or anything. I think that also had to do with the first exercise that I did, which was writing for 30 minutes. It turned into a habit. Most of what I had was a journal and a pen. So, if the question is, does this actually help with creativity? I think that was answered immediately yesterday because all I wanted to do was write, 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 and write. Nothing serious. Like, I did not write stories or poems. When it was almost 7 p.m., when I could hold my phone again, I wrote, I don't feel excited. I feel indifferent about being able to use my phone later. Towards the end of the day, I think I just got used to it. I got used to not having my phone with me, and I wasn't necessarily excited to have my phone. I was at a point where I actually already enjoyed not having my phone with me. But I do have to say that I think being able to feel that way is a specific type of privilege. Not everyone has the luxury to be disconnected due to, I don't know, any anticipation of emergencies or anything. I'm very lucky I was able to feel that yesterday. And then I wrote some reflections after I finally had my phone. Not listening to music at all made me realize how much I usually do things with music in the background. Oh, yeah. I did not listen to music at all. And that made me realize how often I do things with music playing in the background or a video playing in the background, like a podcast or whatever. So, kind of opened my eyes to how much I actually consume just in the most regular parts of my day. Say I'm making coffee or I'm showering or I'm getting ready, I might be having a podcast on or music playing. And yesterday made me realize how much of a habit that is because it's kind of just second nature. And I wrote down it was very peaceful not hearing sound come from any electronic device, meaning a phone or a TV. And then I wrote, the urge to use the internet feels more intentional and purposeful. I want to use my phone because I want to solve something instead of it being just habit or muscle memory, which is so true. After this experiment or exercise was done, I was not like so excited to open my phone and see what's online. I did reply to a few messages, but then after that, I put my phone down again. And when I wanted to use my phone, I picked up my phone because I had to solve something. I don't think I would have realized how much of an attachment I had to my phone if I didn't do this. Yesterday really felt like a detox for my mind. Being understimulated instinctively made me find ways to try to entertain myself, which included a lot of journaling and reading. The fact that I went outside and took a walk around my neighborhood, which is something I don't ever do, really says a lot about my daily life when I have my phone and internet to entertain me. I feel very much refreshed and inspired already. I feel more in tune with myself, more intentional with what I'm doing, more mindful, more present. And also something really important, which is not part of the goal in doing this but still happened, was I feel a lot more grateful just all around with everything that I have, everything around me. I have so much to be thankful for in my life. I think this is something I would like to do every week if possible. I did this on a Saturday, which is my least busy day, and when I know I don't have people I urgently need to respond to. I think this is something that I might do every Saturday. But I still have one exercise to go, which is to do research for 2 hours. I'm still trying to figure out. I think I might use like a topic generator. Point of this is I kind of want my brain to think in ways that I don't normally think, and I want to research a topic that I normally wouldn't think about. I just want to expand my knowledge on something that is sort of outside my realm, not something I would look up or be invested in on my on my day to day. Basically, intentionally disrupting my rhythm and what my brain is used to thinking about. So, last exercise, here we go. Okay, so it's currently 12:56 and I'm going to start my research at 1 p.m. I don't have a topic yet, but I found this site called editpad.org, but it still needs you to put in a certain topic. And I think I'm gonna put in dragons because that's one of like the main aspects in the book that I'm currently reading. I'm not much of a dragon geek, although I might after this research, but it's not something that I'm usually thinking about, or I mean, it's just random to me. So I'm gonna see what kind of titles I can choose from. Okay, I think I immediately found what topic I'm gonna choose. Dragons as cultural symbols, analyzing their significance in art, folklore, and modern society. Okay, it's 1 p.m. Dragon research, here we go. Okay, so my biggest question right now is where do I start? Prepare to embark on a journey through time and myth to learn why dragons appear everywhere. I'm only 14 minutes in, and for some reason, I feel some sort of pressure, even though I'm researching about dragons. But I think it's because of the mindset I kind of came into this with. I'm trying to switch it from like I have to learn something from this to no, I'm just gonna have fun and be curious about this. I felt like I was taking it a bit too seriously at first because I generated like a full on research title for this, but I think I took the wrong approach of taking this a bit too seriously. Although there is something boring about it, this is supposed to be fun, and I need to approach it with more curiosity instead of like, oh, I need to do this. I don't need to do this. I want to do this. That's the mindset. I think there has to be a sense of a boring aspect to it. I'm trying to practice discipline, and like sometimes when I'm supposed to be creative in work that I find boring, I still have to show up creatively. And I'm hoping that doing this exercise will sort of train my brain to be more disciplined in sticking to a task and trying to find the joy out of it through the lens of curiosity. Oh, there's actually a website, draconica.com, filled with everything about dragons, dragon culture, history, Chinese dragons, dragons in Celtic mythology, dragons in the Bible, German dragons, Roman, Western, Welsh, dragon types. Okay, this is actually getting interesting. I think I found my new hyperfixation. Since the book that I just started reading revolves around dragons, I think this definitely influences how I will be reading that book again after this, as I have a better understanding now of dragons, and I think I can better visualize the story when I'm reading the book again. It's so interesting to see how different dragons are portrayed in the East and the West, how contrasting they are. So, in the East, dragons are much more seen as valuable creatures that represent prosperity, health, and wealth. Meanwhile, in the West, they are seen as a threat and a danger and something that a hero must work for to kill to be considered a hero. Actually, dragons are so cool. I'm so late on this. Like, I think everybody has known that dragons have always been cool, but I've never been so in depth in learning about dragons. I always just saw them as mythical creatures in books, in fantasy. See, I'm actually like getting really excited in learning more about dragons. Yeah, what I thought was going to be boring did not become boring at all, and inspires me more to read my book because I have this new perception on dragons. Just the idea of forcing yourself to do something at the start that you normally would not do, it kind of gives you this free roaming of accessing other resources that you don't normally use. If I were to describe it, just opening up the capacity in my head of how there are so many resources out there that we can consume intentionally if we look for it and not just doom scroll and have it come to us. Like, I'm not on Dragon Talk, it's not in my algorithm, but I'm putting myself in the algorithm. And I feel like that's very much more intentional and a far better practice when it comes to consuming media. So you basically curate what comes to you and get rid of what you don't need. There will be negative things or things that don't benefit me when the media comes to me instead of me trying to find it. I learned a lot in just being more purposeful with the facility that we have, which is technology and the internet, and how great it is that we live in this era of so much information that is provided to us. If only we can curate what we want to see just for our own well being and our productivity. It's a shame if we don't use the information that we have online to our best potential. Like, a lot of the information out there could help us become a better person and reach our goals faster only if we are intentional. Find the information, don't let the information find you. It's a great thing that I did this after my 10-hour internet detox. I came into this with a relatively fresh mind, and also from the first exercise where I've dumped everything out from my brain. All the exercises that I did were meant to happen in that order, because dumping out my thoughts for 30 minutes in the first exercise, and then after that spending 10 hours without stimulation from internet or consuming anything digitally cleared out my brain. And then lastly, now refilling my brain with information that is outside of my usual realm. It was such a good structure in me getting out of my creative rut, because I implemented one, dumping everything out, two, clearing and sterilizing everything, and then lastly, refilling it with intentional information. I would say this experiment was very much successful. The inspiration that I got out of this was more of like how I should approach everything revolving my creativity, which is having more intention, being more mindful, recognizing that there is such a spiritual aspect to creativity, like focus and not be distracted by what's on the outside world, really look more in towards myself. I'm not consuming something just to be doing something or consuming something just to be distracted, but I choose to consume something because it is beneficial to me, and I think that's good practice. Will I still be watching Netflix? Of course, but I definitely feel more self aware in how much time I should give myself into consuming media that is just for pure entertainment and consuming media that is beneficial to me. And just because it is beneficial and with intention, it doesn't have to be boring. Like, I thought this was going to be boring, but it ended up being really interesting and fun and gave me a lot of insights. Truly, genuinely, I do feel inspired and I got out of my creative rut. I learned a lot of things that I did not expect to learn about myself, not just creatively, but spiritually. Yeah, this was a really good reset for me as an artist. I feel renewed and I'm excited because I have a music workshop after this. And we'll see if that we'll see if this experiment has an impact on making music. I don't know. We'll see.